Hello guys and welcome to another video. Now in the last video I overclocked the GTX 970 iChill. This managed 130 on the core and 400 on the memory. It was factory overclocked and we got it to 1047 on the core and 4001 on the memory. And I thought, why not test this card against 2019 games. Now I don't have every 2019 game, but I am going to run this card on 2019 games. I think this is really relevant in 2019, well, the end of 2019, because you can pick these cards up now for around 65 to £100. They come in many forms, like this Jetstream one from Palette, the MSI one, and the blower style ones, which generally you can get these the cheapest. So I'm now going to put the iChill one. We're going to bench this one just because it's got better cooling on it, the overclock. So I'm going to do this with the overclock. So the core clock's going to be 1547 megahertz, and the memory clock's going to be 4001 megahertz. Alright, so I've got it in there, all ready to go. Right. All games will be in maximum detail, ultra everything, just so we can get an idea where this card is in 2019. Everything's going to be on ultra, maxed out in every single game, so let's get into it. So first up we have Borderlands 3, and most of the time we're in the 40 FPS range. Sometimes it go above the 50s, sometimes into the 60s, but even though we're in ultra, and it felt very smooth to say we were in the 40s. And yeah, if we turn the stand to medium or high, we'd definitely get more than 60 FPS, no problem. Next up we have Far Cry New Dawn, and I used the in-game benchmark tool to run this test, and we averaged on ultra 65 FPS, which is not too bad at all for this age of this card. And yeah, very playable, above 60 FPS most of the time, and we got an average of 65 FPS, which is very, very good. Next up we have Gears of War 5, and this actually ran far better than what I thought it were going to do. We were seeing 50 FPS, high 50s, sometimes the low 50s, but yeah, again, the GTX 970 proves it is very playable still in 2019. This is one of my favourite franchise. I absolutely love Gears of War 5. Well, any Gears of War really. And yeah, I was very impressed with the GTX 970 on this. Next up we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and this run really, really well. The graphics on this game are absolutely beautiful as well, but we did dip into the 50s, but most of the time we were above 60 FPS in Ultra, which I was very impressed about, and we wouldn't want to smash these bugs up with a lightsaber. But yeah, very impressed. Next up we have Terminator Resistance, and this game run above 60 FPS at all times in Ultra settings, and yeah, I don't think we ever did it once under 60 during this gameplay, and I didn't get to play much of this. I think I played pretty much the first half an hour. But like, this is a new title that I definitely want to come back and play, because the graphics aren't great in this game for a 2019 game, but I definitely want to give this I want to give it a run through and see what I think of it. I can't really judge a game until I've played it all. Next up we have the Outer Worlds, and majority of the time, we did start off in the 50s there, but majority of the time we were above 60 FPS. And this is another one of those games that, the scenery and the graphics are absolutely beautiful. With me, it's just finding the time to play these games, but I'm sure they're great. But yeah, majority of the time we were above 60 FPS in the Outer Worlds, and again, for a 2019 game, for this GPU, which is 5 years old, very, very impressed with the performance of this thing. Here we have Crackdown 3, and we were into the 50s a few times, but again, majority of the time we're above the 60 FPS mark, which is where every gamer wants to be. I mean, the more the better, but the general rule is if you've got more than 60, you're good to go. But we did dip into the 50s, but more or less of the time we're above 60 FPS. And yeah, this game had no trouble running on Ultra either. So let's summarise, guys. So yeah, the GTX 970 in 2019, not too shabby of a card. I just want to mention right now that if you lower the settings down into medium or high, this thing will always output 60 FPS or more in some games. There was some games where we were in the 50s, but it felt like a very playable experience. Some games ran in the high 60s, some games ran even faster than that, and I think for the money of these things, really good buy right now. So I'll definitely grab one of these if you can, if you're on a budget especially. I don't know what went off with Borderlands 3 optimization or something, but 43 FPS. Oh, it was. Oh, maybe even lower than that, I think. But yeah, really good cards. Definitely pick one up if you get the chance. And yeah, catch you in the next video, guys. See you later.